Hello, listeners. Welcome to another great podcast. This is Satavisa. For today's podcast, we have with us Rakesh Yadav, co founder and CTO of FloBiz. Hello, Rakesh. Welcome to Analytics Insight. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. Now, can you please give me a brief about the services that FloBiz is providing?
Right. So at Flowbiz, we are trying to build neobank for middle market SMBs, where we are trying to build a single platform where we can seamlessly integrate their daily operations with their banking and financial operations. So right now, what happens is that these SMBs, small SMBs, they use one platform to conduct their billing and accounting practices. Then they use some banking portals like ICICI, SBI, etc., to conduct their banking transactions, and then they use some other platforms to conduct their financial operations. So, idea here is to build a single platform where we integrate all of these three different avenues and then provide them one single platform where they can seamlessly conduct their daily business needs. And this will definitely, result into a lot of automation, and that will eventually save them time as well as reduce a lot of errors that they make when they are manually entering data from one platform to another platform. So that's what we are building in a nutshell at Flowbiz.
That sounds great. Now, I want to talk a little about the growth that this brand has witnessed in this last 4 years. And if you can give me a roadmap through about your journey.
Right, right. So we started Flowbiz in 2019. And since then, obviously, the business has grown multifold. So as of today, we have roughly 7 million registered businesses from all across the India, right from your major top tier cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi to remotest area of India like Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Kashmir, Kanyakumari. Like we have users from all across the India, and the kind of users that we have are from a large spectrum. So you will see very big businesses who are doing business in 50 crore, 100 crore, as well as very small businesses in remote towns who are running, let's say, very small, dealerships, very small retail stores. And every year we have been growing 3 to 4 times. So our business is growing 300 to 400 times, both in terms of user base as well as revenue. And so far we have been focused mostly on building this one of our product called My Bill Book. My Bill Book at its core is a billing and accounting product using which these businesses can seamlessly do their billing and accounting. And even though there has been a lot of billing and accounting softwares in India for last 15, 20 years, but the way we are building My Bill Book is that we are building it from the business owner's perspective. The traditional accounting and billing softwares that you see in India are mostly built for accountants, because of which they have a lot of these complex technical jargons, and if some businessman wants to use them, then he'll have to go through a complete accounting course. He needs to train himself, but with MyLook he need not to know any of those complex jargons, and he can use our product like he uses Facebook, WhatsApp, or any of the consumer applications that he has in his mobile phone. So that was our primary focus so far. Now, slowly, we are trying to integrate a lot of these other banking and financial services in our product, so that their needs related to banking and financial services, loans, insurance, all of those kind of things also get catered via the My Bill Book application itself. And obviously, slowly, so far our product was horizontally built, which means all of these businesses can use the product, but we weren't really catering to the deeper workflows of these specific businesses. So, for example, if there's a distributor who has a fleet of, let's say, 20 salesmen, and he wants to track their GPS location, he wants to track their route, etc. So those kind of workflows were not really supported. So now the plan is to go vertically deep for all of those different segments that we have. So we want to cater all the workflows, build automation for all the workflows of a distributor. We want to build automation for all the workflows of a manufacturer. Similarly, we want to automate and introduce newer workflows for service-based businesses as well. So we want to go very deep in each of the verticals, each of the segments that we have in our user base today.
Well, that sounds really interesting. It seems like you people are doing a great job. Now, I'm curious to know how the pandemic has boosted this need of this country to go digital, and how your company is helping with that?
Right, right. So I think pandemic has helped these businesses realize that it's very important for them to evolve. And since we are talking about SMBs over here, most of these SMBs have been in the business for last 15, 20 years, and they have been conducting their business in complete offline way, and they never felt a need of a change. But because of the pandemic, they were suddenly forced to adopt these changes. So now with the experience of pandemic, now these businesses realize that the consumer of today is very different from the consumers of 10 year back. Now they understand the consumers of today want everything that they need while sitting in their house, right? So they have realized that they need to evolve as the consumer behavior is evolving. And obviously, because of the pandemic, these businesses were forced to conduct their business operations from their home, and they were not able to go to their offices. And that's where they started trying out platforms and products like My Billbook and a lot of other products in the market. And now they feel pretty confident that it's not like they cannot conduct business remotely. They can definitely conduct with much more efficiency, and that has made them addicted to this new way of conducting the business. So earlier for them, internet was mostly a source of entertainment. They used to use WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, but now they are slowly getting exposed to the way internet can help them improve their productivity, the way internet can help them reach to new businesses, the way internet and internet based products can help them automate and streamline their business operations. So overall, I would say definitely pandemic has boosted the adoption of digital products and internet to a large extent, especially in SMB segment, because earlier they were conducting their business in a certain way, which they have been doing for last 10, 15 years. But now they are suddenly adopted these newer solutions, and we are seeing that most of the businesses are still sticking with the digital products, even though the pandemic has now been removed, the lockdown has now been removed. But most of the businesses have sustained the habit of conducting their business remotely and using these modern products and tools to conduct their business.
Thank you for explaining that to me. Now, lastly, I want to ask you that the advent of new banks and how they are placing in this large financial landscape of India.
Right, right. So I think if you think fundamentally, neobanks are nothing but basically newer versions of your traditional banks with much more focus on user experience. And the focus on user experience is important because the modern consumer, the younger generation, doesn't really have patience. They want everything to be done on their fingertips. They cannot really visit a bank branch to get their passbook done or get their KYC done. They cannot call your customer support to get their queries resolved or get their transactions done. So now these modern platforms and modern neobanks are realizing this need of young consumers, and that's where they are trying to build layers on top of traditional banks, where the focus is a lot more on user experience, and they are trying to provide banking and financial services needs to these consumers in an instant instead of waiting for days and weeks. So I think that's where neobanks fit, and slowly I feel that almost all the financial transactions, all the financial touch points that a typical consumer in India has will get shifted to neobank. Uh, be it banking, be it loan, insurance, credit, or any other financial instrument that you can think of, all of those will get disrupted, and they will see more and more younger players coming in and disrupting these traditional banks and platforms.
That sounds amazing. Now, can you please give me some idea about the future plans that you have with Flowbiz?
Right, right. So there are a couple of focus areas. One is that we want to go vertically deep for different kind of businesses. So build all the workflows for a specific kind of SMBs. India is a diverse country. We have, even though we call it SMB, but there are 50 to 100 different micro personas in an SMB space as well. For example, based on your turnover, if you are a business of let's say 20 crore versus if you are a business of 1 crore, your business needs will be a lot different. And then similarly, if you are from, let's say, electronics industry versus if you are from a pharma industry, your business needs will vary a lot. And then obviously based on geography, based on the age of the business owner, based on your uh, compliance requirements. There are a lot of different things which vary a lot. Even though 90% of the needs are similar, but those 10% of the needs are a lot varying a lot with the persona change. So we want to make our product feel like it's built exclusively for each of these personas. So some nuances which were, let's say, not there for a specific industry, some nuances which were, let's say, not there for specific segment of businesses, we want to build them, and we want to introduce them in order to feel in order to make these assemblies feel like my bill book and Flowbiz is a product which is exclusively built for them and not just an horizontal product. So that is focus number one. And second is that we want to introduce financial services. So far, most of the SMBs were using my bill book only for their billing and accounting needs. Now we want to also offer them, term loan, credit line, invoice discounting, all of those kind of financial products which currently they don't really have access to. And even if they have access to the process to avail these kind of financial products is very complex. They will have to do a lot of documentation. They will have to visit branches multiple times. They will have to go through multiple levels of KYC. So the idea here is to introduce all of these offerings on the product itself, so that they can click a couple of buttons and avail all of those services in within minutes instead of waiting for weeks. So that is focus number two. And the third focus is that now slowly we want to expand our product into areas where we can help these SMBs into growing their business, not just managing operations, but help them grow their business as well. So for example, since we are an accounting product, we already have the entire data of the business. We already know who are your customers, who are the customers who haven't purchased from you in last 6 months, who are your high value customers, who are the customers whom you can give 5%, 10% discount, and then excite them to repeat business with you. So we have all of those insights. Now we are building tools using which these businesses can do remarketing and retargeting to their existing customers as well as new customers, and that will eventually help these businesses into expanding their top line. So that is another focus area that we have for my Billbook product as of now. And then obviously we want our SMBs to be enabled enough to do marketing, digital marketing. So for example, today we know that most of the consumers spend a lot of time on WhatsApp, they spend a lot of time on Instagram, Facebook, all of these modern platforms. But SMBs don't really have enough tooling to do marketing on these platforms. At best, what they can do is they can post a couple of Instagram posts, they can post a couple of Facebook posts, but they don't really have a way to maximize their reach. So now we are building tools which will actually help them grow beyond their existing customer. And obviously, another thing which is helping us here is that India as a country has really leveled up its infrastructure. So now, if you want to supply some products from Rajasthan to, let's say, Karnataka, it's easily doable because there are a lot of logistic companies, and that is being realized by SMBs as well. So they want to cater to customers pan India instead of being very geographically focused. So we want to enable them to reach to those customers which are not in their vicinity, which are not in their local geography. So that is another focus area. Yeah.
Well, that's really great. I'm sure this is definitely going to help all of our listeners too. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Rakesh.
Yeah, same here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.